to 3dprint.com. And today we are going to take you through a couple of 3D printing news items. And the first one is the Biomic Wall. And this is a ceramic 3D printed hydroponic facade. And the idea is this facade element can be embedded somewhere in the city. And it's a new city type of habitat. And it is going to encourage and promote plants and lichen and moss and birds and whatever to live within it or live on top of it. It's made by the University of Innsbruck and working together with ceraLAB and exparch.hochbau, which is part of the university there. And the idea is to create a new environment, like new types of habitat that are safe and friendly and all this. Now, first off, I like this because it's ceramics, and ceramics is really environmentally friendly compared to polymers and compared to metals. If you use something, you dig something up, use it 1,000 years, and then in another form, use it again. So it's a wonderful material. But I was just thinking about this. I'm thinking like we're putting energy into making like kind of a fake environment, a new habitat in the city. And it reminded me a lot of like golf courses where you look at a golf course, you think it's all green, you think it's like nature, but it's actually a super sterile environment for, yes, there's some birds picking out at the old insect or something, but it's a really very, very sterile environment, with very little diversity in it and very little kind of space, literally, for plants and things like that. So it's a wide open space without a lot of space for nature. And I'm thinking, is this kind of what we're doing here? Are we building like kind of fake nature? Like imagine this, you're going to work, you see this kind of natural ceramic 3D printed structure, you feel better about yourself, it's not all concrete. That's good. But shouldn't we be spending that kind of energy in preserving actual nature or rewilding a part of nature that we've destroyed previously? I don't know. I just think this thing, but anyway, it's called the Biomic Wall. I don't want to be super critical. I think it's a fun project. There's a couple of these happening all over the place. Some of them for in cities and all this. And I like the addition of hydroponics. I don't want to be really critical, but I'm thinking like, yeah, shouldn't we just be, rewilding things instead? And that's kind of what got me thinking when I saw this. Today, we've talked about this news before, but today is the unveiling by Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw of the first 3D printed post office. In India, they say, but I think it's the first 3D printed post office anywhere, actually. And that was done in Bengaluru, in Cambridge layout near the Ulsoor Bazaar. If you're in the neighborhood, go check it out. I have no idea where that is. It's a 100 square meter post office. It took 45 days to build, which I think is very refreshing. People not trying to do everything in a couple hours. It was done by a local engineering firm called Larsen Toubro, and some help with the IIT Madras. It's kind of one of their really, really good universities over there. So the interesting thing here is that the image comes from a tweet by Modi, the prime minister, and then there's other people as well, ministers and other people that have kind of been boosting this as a sign of India and kind of technological advance and technological cutting edgeness for the country. So, could this mean that there's a lot of 3D printing infrastructure lying in wait for us in India? Could this mean that, for example, a country like India could be boosted into a leading position in concrete printing just because the politicians are super enthusiastic about stuff like this? It could be the case. I mean, the industry is so nascent, it's so small. There have been, like $1 billion or so invested in it so far, that kind of thing. But that's not a big money in the scheme of things. It's not a big amount of money in the scheme of Indian infrastructure, right? Let alone the global market for in every country in the world for 3D printing infrastructure. So this is an opportunity, I think, for India to really, pump money and attention into this and maybe become a leading country, at least in this aspect of 3D printing. The third thing, and the image, rather disconcerting, I could imagine, image you see in front of you is from a 3D printed nose. So this is a part made by surgeons, doctors Agnès Dupret-Bories and Benjamin Vairel, and they're at the Toulouse University Cancer Institute in France, and they use the technology from a company called Cerhum to 3D printed nose, hydroxyapatite nose for a cancer patient. She had lost her nose through cancer, and this was terrible effects on her self-perception, willingness to go out, that kind of thing. And they really couldn't figure out for this woman a proper kind of reconstructive procedure. So what they did here is they 3D printed this nose, the hydroxyapatite nose, some other materials in it, I think, and then they grafted skin on top of it and then implanted it for a number of weeks on the patient on her arm. Now, the idea behind this is one of the biggest problems of this whole bioprinting thing, of course, is we don't know how to vascularize tissue, right? We can 3D print lots and lots of different shapes, but we can't actually keep them alive. So this is a way around that that's been done in lots of other procedures, non-3D printing procedures as well. by temporarily putting it there, then the idea is that the blood vessels will permeate this implant, and then will make it actually a living thing that can be resupplied by the body. Then subsequently, it was put on the lady's face, and she's apparently very, very happy. And this is a treatment that could maybe make lives a lot better for a lot of other cancer patients as well. So yeah, this is interesting. We don't know how big this is. The Cerhum thing, the 3D printing bone generally thing, could be very, with ossiform Cerhum, could be a huge thing. Generally. So we're really, really following this area in particular of the market. How big it'll take and how long it'll take to get there, we don't know. This is, an experimental procedure. It's essentially a one-off. They had to do all sorts of things to get approval for this. So we don't know. Sorry, I'm sneezed. Sorry about that. Sorry. So generally, we don't know. What this is a one-off, right? That's the only thing I wanted to say. Like, it doesn't mean that everyone cancer patient is missing a nose or a facial feature can now all of a sudden have this done to them. And it doesn't even mean that this is like super effective when comparing it to alternatives, right? But for this one lady, it seemed to be a good solution, and this could be a portent of more things to come many years in the future. So that's very hopeful. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. My name is Joris Peels, and this is 3D Printing News Unpeeled. And I hope you have a great day.